Hey, this is Gary by the chalkboard, downtown Abilene. We're here to talk about life, the value of life. And today, my special guest is Oscar. Oscar, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. So, Oscar, what what is valuable about life?
I think your friends and family, finding happiness, and then also serving a purpose greater than yourself. So, just trying to find the balance between those.
Yeah, that's good. So, friends and family, those are things that you observe outside of yourself. What about this life? What about this life as you? What do you see as value in this life?
What do you mean by that? Like how do I think my life impacts others, or what I find valuable about myself?
Yeah, because you're a unique aspect of life in all the universe.
I am.
And so this life, finding value in this life, people look outward often to find value in other people, but to look at this life, it requires a different kind of looking, doesn't it?
Yeah, I suppose so. I think by looking inward and finding your true self, you actually impact others the most by exemplifying what it means to express yourself truly. And I think they see that and then want to do the same for themselves. And it also makes you more selfless. But what is it? Are you just a wise man? Where does it come from?
I just enjoy exploring life. You know, I've gone through a lot of difficulty in life, and coming out of that is it's just awareness of things that I wasn't aware before, aware of the value of this life. When I became more aware of the value of this life, it just made me more aware of the value of every other life. I would see the same thing. Like, oh, this life is of value because of this, and then everyone else just appeared to me the same way.
Mm-hmm.
I used to look at myself in a very negative way, down on myself, frustrated at myself, feeling I had a lack of things. When I began to understand that that wasn't the case at all, I was making that up in my mind because I would be frustrated at something, and then that frustration would become a little story, and then it would become a movie, and then there were sequels to the movie, and so my mind would just generate all this false stuff about me. But what you said about looking within myself, I began to discover things that were of value that I had read about. Like in the Bible, I would read things that, oh, you're of great value, but I didn't see it in myself. And because I couldn't see it in myself, I didn't see it in other people. It was like a mirror reflecting back to me.
When did that click for you? Like, what moment? Oh, when did that click for you? Like, what moment did you start to realize all of that?
You know, it wasn't a moment. It's happened incrementally. Things in my life kept changing, and I became aware of things, and I was searching and reading and studying and asking questions. And the more questions I asked, the more answers would come to me in a really fabulous way. And so I just never stopped. I just kept looking. I had to know. Those questions that rise in your heart that you just have to know, I just kept looking and asking the questions.
At around what age did you start to ask yourself those questions?
It really started in my young 20s, but it really came to light in the last 5 years after I went through a difficult time. I call it a midlife crisis because a lot of men, there's a group there, you know, of men who late 30s, early mid 40s.
How old are you now?
How old am I? I'm 50 years old, and yeah, it was a really difficult, challenging time for me, and looking back and seeing what I did that changed my life became important to me. My podcast is focused a lot on men going through a midlife crisis, and so the basis of what I'm talking about, a foundation, is that oftentimes when we're going through difficulties, we try to change something. We want to change it, but we really don't know what's wrong. When something's wrong, do you know what's wrong? You're really just observing the effect of what's wrong, symptoms of what's wrong. So instead of trying to change something, add something of value to your life. Because when you add something of value to your life, what needs to change will change all by itself, very naturally. It's like your diet. If you want to improve the health of your body and you add something of value to your life, do you have to change your body? You don't have to change anything. Your body takes that value and naturally uses it in a positive way. So what makes us think that any other aspect of the human being would be different than that. It's the same way. Simply adding something of value changes your life. One of the greatest values of life that we can do to change how we see ourselves is to share. Because whatever you share increases in you and in whom you share it with. And we share lots of things. We can share lots of things. We could share frustration, anger. We can share friendship. We can share compassion. But the difference is sharing frustration is very limited, because how far does frustration go in your life?
Not very far.
It's not effective. It stops really. I mean, there's only a certain level that it can go to, if you will. But when you share compassion, there's no boundary to that. It's ever expanding. And it comes from your heart. Frustration is just generated in the mind, isn't it? Something happens and your mind starts making up stories about it. It gets bigger and bigger. But compassion, friendship, those things arise from here. It's a deep level. And there's no boundary to it. It just expands in you and expands in others. It's kind of a paradox. If you have 6 apples and you decide to share 3 of them with your friend, now you only have 3 apples. It's like you have less. But if you lack patience and you want more patience in your life, you simply share patience with other people and it increases in you. And more accurately, what's really happening is you become aware of patience. Because frustration is your own making. You make that yourself. You're the creator of your own frustration. But you're not the creator of compassion. It's like saying, I created the sunlight. You don't create the sunlight. You just stop for a moment when it's shining on you. You become aware of it, right? That's what compassion is. It's already a part of your makeup as a human being. This is within you already.
Are you religious?
I don't consider myself religious. I would, if I could use the word spiritual, I'm deeply spiritual. These things are present in my life all the time, but a lot of religion seems to be more based on rules and form. Do it this way.
Well, I think a lot of religion stems from those rules and stuff are connected to like the same spiritual like conclusions or things that like the average or the natural like human can come to on their own. So I think religion is just like kind of an expansion of that.
I see religion kind of as maybe a foundation. It's like martial arts. When anyone who starts martial arts, they learn the same foundation, the same base. All punches and kicks are thrown from the same foundation. But as a martial artist improves and starts learning, they express it unique to them. No one throws punches and kicks the same way. Mm-hmm. It's all unique to the way that they are, their expression of life. To me, I see religion that way, is that it sets a foundation for things, but each one of us must search within ourselves to learn this expression of life. What's valuable about this? And when you discover what's valuable about this, your expression is unique to you. And that's what makes it so wonderful.
That's a good way of looking at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.